That is Port Mansfield, Texas. It is a cool little place on the Texas coast. Now, what it does not have is a police department or a gas station. But what it does have are a lot of bait stores, some restaurants, some lodges, places to stay, and some of the very best inshore saltwater game fishing on the entire Gulf of Mexico. Come experience some of that with us in the next half hour. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
All right, we are in the water and ready to rock. Hey, it's been about 20 years since I've been to Port Mansfield, Texas, and I had forgotten what a gorgeous place this is. I am really excited about today, and I'm glad you're along with us. We're going to try to go out and catch the Port Mansfield Grand Slam, consisting of a redfish, speckled trout, and a flounder, all in the same day. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We've got the help of Steve Ellis, an expert guide, to give us a little information. While we're doing that, we take you around the region for your latest fishing reports from our team of insider reporters from your local lakes, rivers, and bays. Right now, I'm going to get this Mako 21 LTS out of this bay, up toward the land cut. We take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner. Hey, let's get this thing going right now.
Hi everybody, a check of the Salooner tables shows fair game fish activity on lakes for this weekend. Top daylight times will start in the mornings at 8:27 on Saturday and 9:21 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 7:03 and set at 5:23. And we'll have a waxing moon that is 77% visible. Stay with us for all of your fishing updates from around the region. Plus, I'll return with crappie angler Wally Marshall on this week's Ask the Pro. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Aransas Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's morning here at Port Mansfield, Texas, and we made the long run about 20 miles or so north out of Port Mansfield to the land cut. We were in search of the first of our 3 Grand Slam species, the redfish. Now we put the trolling motor down and started cruising down the shoreline of the land cut looking for tailing redfish that are feeding with their tail out of the water. And the first thing we saw was a tail. I made a perfect cast close to that fish, started reeling that little plastic swim bait by him, and he just swam over and attacked it. And you're beginning to see now some of this fight. We had to take our time and wear this fish down. We were using the new Lew's Inshore Bait Cast Reel series, and I backed off on the star drag so that every time this fish made a run, he could strip that drag, and he did it 3, 4, 5 times before we finally started wearing this fish down. We had 14-pound test Stren fluorocast line. We use this really clear line in this really clear water, and that's very important when you're sight fishing what could be a real spooky redfish. We'll let it pick up from there and show you exactly what happened. That's what I came to Port Mansfield to do right here. There's my redfish for you right there. Beautiful fish, good quality fish for this fishery right here, and a perfect tailing shot. If you wanted to keep one, you could keep some and have black and red fish. But we're going to tail him a little bit right here. Make sure he's got plenty of oxygen in his gills. He's ready to go. And away he goes. All right, while I get re-rigged and take a heart pill, you get some fishing reports from your local area.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Outdoor Report. I tell you what, right now we've got so much cast and blast going on all across the state. Doesn't matter where you talk to these guides, they're catching fish during the daytime, early in the morning, they're killing a lot of ducks. And that's happening, I'm telling you, from Delacroix, down around Houma, talking to Captain Bill Lake. All the guides down there, friends, it doesn't matter where you want to go right now. They're catching lots of fish during the daytime after they come in from hunting. But they're killing lots of ducks early in the morning. Here closer to home, Calcasieu Lake, Captain Kevin, most of his guides are hunting for a place called the Marsh Club. They're doing very well there. Yesterday, Kevin had a cast at last, came in and went out and just caught unbelievable amount of big old redfish. They had a blast. Today we got a couple of boats out. They're really keying in on the flounder. Keep in mind the flounder run has started back up again. These cold fronts have not been cold enough to really stack them up like they have been each and every year. But they're doing pretty good right now. Both boats have about 20. As far as bass fishing goes, talk to good friends down there at the Atchafalaya Basin. They're catching some good fish right now, mostly on crankbaits and small spinnerbaits. So friends, right now, all across the state, it doesn't matter whether you want bass, whether you want saltwater species, they're hitting really good. Toledo Bend, the water's up a little bit, they're catching them there. Keep in mind, in between these fronts, you can catch some good bass on spinnerbaits in the shallow water. During the hot part of the day, move on out, throw something like a Carolina rig.
Look at this right here. There's a stingray grubbing along and he's got a trout right behind him, right here. Got him. All right. Wow, is that not awesome or what? Not a big trout, but that just shows you what we can do here. All right, we're coming back to South Padre, but that just shows you some sight fishing action right there. You just look, see what you can see, make a cast, and they are aggressive, and they run up, and they snare it. We'll be right back. Got him, swimming at the boat. Flounder, flounder, here he comes. Nice flounder. Look at that, got him. All right. We're up in the land cut today, fishing for whatever will bite. And there's a good flounder for you right there. Beautiful fish. And as you saw, I'm gonna slide over here so I can show you. See that shack right there with the dock in front of it? That's exactly where that fish was laying, right off the corner of that shack. Prime cover for flounder. Guide Steve Ellis told us this morning before we left the dock that if you come up here and fish around every one of these shacks up here, your chances of catching flounder are good. It's kind of a mixed bag up here. You never know what's gonna bite, but you throw the little lead jig head with the plastic shrimp tail on the back of it, and you've got a great chance of just catching something, which is great for saltwater. But this land cut is one of the most fertile fisheries you can possibly imagine. Now, the old Redfish Bay, just the big bay between here and Port Mansfield, is excellent as well. I mean, we're here on a full moon, and that's death. The fish tend to move off the flats during the daytime. They feed at night during the full moon. So they come off the flats and pull back in the deeper water. So we're fishing the edge of the intercoastal waterway, the land cut here. We've got a great day going right here, catching all kinds of stuff. Beautiful place to fish as well. Hey, it's time for more fishing reports. Good news for you. See what's biting in your neck of the woods.
Hey, I think most of us know how difficult it is to find time to fish several days in a row any time of year, and even more difficult when you're trying to find time to do that with your spouse. But that's exactly what Kevin and Patty DeLong of Hominy did recently. 12 days of fishing together on Call Lake. Kevin said it was a remarkable time, caught a lot of quality fish, as you can see here in these photos. Kevin tells me they were tandem rigging. They had a 1/8 ounce jig head on top with a baby shad swimmer. Down below that was an itty bit jig head, 1/48 ounce rigged with an itty bit swimmer. He said most of the fish came on the little tiny bait on the bottom of that rig. Best color was Cajun cricket. Caught some on monkey milk, some on glacier, and as you can see, a lot of fish over 2 pounds. He said it didn't matter whether it was a 3-inch crappie or a 2-pound crappie, they were hitting that little itty bit swimmer. Now he said the key to what they're doing was bouncing that jig head on the rocks on the bottom. He said that jig head had to be tapping the rocks, about 14 foot of water, and most of that was happening around the riprap areas. Appreciate the report, Kevin and Patty. I'm jealous of your fishing excursion that you had. I also recently ran into LaRue owner Chris Lindenberg, who was crappie fishing on Fort Gibson Lake. I approached him just as he tied into, fought, and landed this big old white bass, so it was a lot of fun to see that, witness it, and share it with you viewers here. You know, you can catch a lot of different species in a lot of different places in Oklahoma right now, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Buy Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Got him. Trout, look at this. All right, that's a keeper, no giant, but there we go. Specker trout right there. There's a good one. Just a decent sized keeper trout. I want to show you something here. Let me drive my trolling motor up. Welcome back, everybody. Port Mansfield up at the land cut. Right now what I've done is switch patterns a little bit. Something else that Captain Steve told me to fish. I want you to look right here. You can see basically two black grass strips. The first one's up there real shallow. The second one's out here a little deeper. This is the actual drop of the land cut. So you can fish the shacks, as you saw, and fish around the piers and pilings. You can fish the flat side of the land cut, sight casting for those redfish, and you saw us catch a good redfish. But you can also just go along here and fish the drop or the edge of this land cut. And again, you can see the black strip in the white sand right here. That's the drop off, and that's where you can catch sometimes a really good speckled trout. Now this one's not great. He's just he would be a keeper, but we're not keeping him today. So I'm just gonna let the wind kind of move me along here, drift along this flat. That's what we'll do. See if we can pick up some trout. Time for you some more fishing reports. Fish the drops, catch you some trout.
Hi folks, once again this week, Lone Star Lakes is brought to you by the good folks at Hitch It Safe, makers of the best in trailer safety and security products, and it's made right here in the USA. Now we're going to start at Possum Kingdom, where bass are hanging out in anywhere from 5 to 8 feet of water, but they're dashing up into the shallows around the vegetation to chase the bait fish. So use your Cordell spots, Cincos, spinnerbaits, and even short drop shot rigs to work that 2 to 6 foot range of water. Be ready when those fish come running up. Also on PK, the stripers are hanging out over the main river channel in about 15 to 20 feet of water. Use your lead heads with a plastic swim body or your big slab spoons to get down and get these stripers. Over at Conroe, the crappie have moved up into about 12 feet of water outside boat docks that have brush in front of them. They're mainly hanging out under the docks for cover and shade and then moving out to the brush piles to feed. So find your brush piles, graph up 6 or 7, and then make your milk run around and around to each brush pile, because you never know when the crappie will move onto the brush. And finally, at Lake Wright-Patman up in northeast Texas, they're having good luck on catfish in about 6 feet of water, and we're talking blue cats here, so use your cut shad or live bait, fish about 6 to 8 feet deep, and wait on those big blues to find your baits. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Hitch It Safe. Check them out on the web at hitchitsafe.com. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, many anglers are playing the Texas coast as temperatures continue to slip. By that I mean they will head south to the lower Laguna Madre to find the warmest water, with the coolest weather being found on the upper coast. They'll also utilize the curvature of the Texas coast to afford them protection from strong winds, and they will fish live and artificial baits a little more slowly as temperatures begin to drop. Now, anglers should look to the flats for redfish and black drum on windy days. Behind the barrier islands are good options when the wind blows for speckled trout. Upper coast anglers continue to chase birds, with increased flounder activity being found as temperature cools. Look for long, gradual sloping bottoms that fall off into deeper water as good places to ambush flatfish. Just slowly work the bottom to catch these tasty fish. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. This Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's 3 trout right here on a little black spot here. Little piece of grass. See if I can get a shot in front of. Got him. Not a big one, but he's a trout. All right, that was cool. We actually saw the live shot right there. This is some of the most heart-pounding, exciting fishing you can possibly do up here, because you're fishing all these shallow flats and shallow water. and you're actually seeing the fish. And the cool thing about it is these fish are aggressive. They're mad. They are not happy ducks. And when that goes hopping by that, he just runs over and eats it, and you can watch him do it. What an incredibly fun thing to do. You saw it live right there. I just looked up there, 3 of them, and his tail was actually up out of the water. So he was feeding in a little grass bed, eating some little shrimp and some little ghost minnows. And that was really cool. He just immediately swam over and sucked that in. What a great fish right there. Back he goes. All right, so you need good sunglasses if you're going to come here, by the way. Everybody wears Costas down here. These are 580 glass lenses. They come in all different shades depending on if there's clouds or sun. But you just go along these banks with the trolling motor and look in the water. And once you kind of get acclimated to what you're looking for those black tails on the trout, and then you're looking for that red glow in the water for the redfish or the tail sticking up, and it is such a blast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Clay writes, can you please show me how to tie a loop knot for a crappie jig? For some help, we asked Mr. Crappie Wally Marshall to show us how.
You talking about loop knots? That's all I've ever tied my entire career in crappie fishing. The loop knot is a great knot. The knot won't break, the line will break before the knot breaks. What I like to do is take the line, run it through the eye of the hook, then take your thumb and index fingers, put them together, stick out your middle finger, take your lines and run around your middle finger back to the loop, and then it makes a loop in between your fingers. Put the lure down through there 3 times, just like this right here. Then what you're gonna do is grab the lure by the head and also let go of the loop with your middle finger. Pinch the line right next to the eye of the hook. Then take your main line and your staging and just pull. And it makes that loop knot, and your lure always sets up perfectly for crappie fishing.
Thank you, Wally. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, go to our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's find out which big fish picture wins someone a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Each week here on the show, someone wins a free pair of Costa sunglasses, the Costa Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Pete Lawson of Spring, Texas, showing his 10.8-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Toledo Bend Reservoir in Texas. And as an added bonus, here are a couple of other Toledo Bend fish. Brandon Johns with a 9.8 bass, James Reed with a 9.1, Kevin Choate with an 8-pounder, Jared Fusilier with a 40-pound blue cat, and Forrest Owens with a 24-pound blue catfish. If you'd like to enter the contest, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Costa Catch of the Week box, follow the instructions, send us your photo, and you could be our next winner. If you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, go back to the front page, click on the Costa logo, and it'll take you straight to their website. You can see everything there, including the great frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. It's called Caballito, and I had the 580p lenses. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, I've got the greatest gear imaginable to go out and do this kind of fishing with, beginning with the Mako 21 LTS saltwater skiff. Got it rigged right on the bow with the Motor Guide XI5 Wi-Fi trolling motor that I control with my remote here around my neck. Then on the bow and at the console, I've got the Lowrance HDS 12-inch unit on the console, 9-inch unit on the bow, and these are the Gen 3, the latest units that do everything you can imagine. Then on the very back of the boat, I've got the Mercury 4-stroke outboard engine. That's a 150 4-stroke. It is super quiet, super fuel efficient, very smooth running, everything you could possibly imagine to power this rig in saltwater, the beautiful Mercury 4-stroke 150. As far as the rods and reels go, these are the Lew's Inshore Custom Series. They're specially built for inshore saltwater fishing. I've got the spinning rod rigged up with the Lew's Speed Spin inshore spinning reel, and got the bait caster rigged up with the Lew's Speed Spool inshore saltwater bait cast reel, specially made for saltwater conditions like these. As far as the lures go, you can see there I simply use lead painted jig heads, 3/16 or 1/4 ounce size. As far as the plastic bodies, a little shrimp tail body or a little swim body work perfectly, and those are the colors I caught the fish on today. If you watch our show a lot, you know that I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey. He has radio and television shows nationwide, and he teaches basic financial principles. One of the foundations of what he teaches is that every person should have a $1,000 emergency fund set aside in a separate account where you won't touch it unless there is some kind of a major emergency, like a medical emergency, your car breaks down, something like that. You beg, borrow, do whatever you have to do, work extra hours, sell something to save that $1,000 emergency fund. What that does is it keeps you from sliding that credit card and going into debt every time something happens. So I would highly advise that you do what I've done. Set that emergency fund aside. If you ever have to dip into it, the first thing you do after you're past the crisis is put that money back, keep the $1,000, stay out of debt. I hope you enjoyed our trip today to Port Mansfield, Texas. We stayed at the beautiful Getaway Adventures Lodge. It is everything you could possibly want in a place to stay, right on the water. It's got fishing guides, food, great place to sleep, great rooms, great accommodations, everything you could possibly want. All their contact information is up on your screen right now. And if you want to book a guide, call my friend Steve Ellis. He'll get you out there, catch some of the fish like you saw us catching on this week's show. Hey, don't forget that we'll be on next week at our regular time, 10:30 p.m. on Thursday, with a repeat airing at 7:30 on Saturday morning. You can always catch our latest episode on the front page of our newly designed mobile-friendly website. It'll resize correctly whether you're looking at it on an iPhone, Android device, tablet, or full-size desktop PC. And you can always see the past episodes of our show by clicking the archive button just below that. And you can go back to the front page, click on the how-to button to see lots of product and how-to videos that we don't have time for here on the television show. Be sure and follow us on our Twitter feed for lots of fishing news, information, pictures, and videos that you'll never see here on the television show, and like us on our Facebook page. From beautiful Port Mansfield, Texas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.